a case involving the Jehovah's Witnesses appeared before the Supreme Court. And it involved a requirement in the state of Pennsylvania, Minersville, Pennsylvania, over flag salute. And this is how flag salute was. Okay? Used to be with the outstretched inverted palm. And it was a requirement. You had to do it. Well, this man, Walter Gobitis, did not want to have his children subjected to it. He was the son of Catholic immigrant parents from Lithuania, and his mother was a Methodist, and he decided in 1931, I am going to become a witness. I'm going to be a part of the Watchtower Society of Jehovah's Witnesses. And so he repudiated a lot of the understanding that he had grown up with. In particular, the witnesses were to bear witness against what they believed the three major allies of Satan: the false teaching, so-called, of most other teachers, and especially the Roman Catholic Church. In fact, much of the controversy involving Jehovah's Witnesses involved Catholics, human government, and capitalism and business. And they particularly objected to patriotic exercises such as the salute to the flag. Now, the parents told 12-year-old Lillian and 10-year-old William, you can do what you want with respect to the flag. It's your decision. But what forced the issue is that the Nazis began to round up thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses, at least 10,000, and herded them into the death camps. And then there was a third grader in Massachusetts, an American, who had taken a stand against saluting the flag. And the witnesses took this as an inspiration, maybe a sign from God for them to do so as well. And the head of the Jehovah's Witnesses urged all witnesses to stop saluting the flag. Walter Gobitis, by the way, his name is forever misspelled in the court records. His name was actually Gobitas, but for convenience, we align his name with the way it was misspelled in the records. He went to the local school board and tried to explain why his family would not salute the flag. We are not desecrating the American flag, Gobitis said. We show no disrespect for the flag, but we cannot salute it. The Bible tells us this, and we must obey. Gobitis pointed board members to chapter 20 of Exodus, the book of Exodus, which warned believers not to bow down to any graven image which portrays false gods. And the flags of nations were images of Satan, who rules the secular world, governments of the world. The superintendent school board said, your children still have to salute the flag, and Gobitis stormed out of the school board meeting and said, I'm going to take you to court for this. He argued that there were no absolute guarantees of religious freedom. Government is not supposed to interfere with organized or individualized expression of belief or disbelief, but people have protections in that regard only concerning laws which are overtly religious. And since the flag salute law was not overtly religious, it has a political dimension. That is the primary purpose. The flag, he wrote, is a symbol of national unity transcending all internal differences. He implied that failure to salute it somehow threatened the existence of the nation. Frankfurter venerated the flag as a symbol that fostered, quote, the binding tie of cohesive sentiment among the nations. And he quoted his hero, Oliver Wendell Holmes, we live by symbols. National unity is the basis of national security. And he warned the Gobitis family that if they got away with not saying or saluting the flag, that there would be doubts in the minds of other children and weaken American loyalty. 3 years pass. By this time, we have some new members to the court, most particularly Robert Jackson has joined the court. And it becomes clear that the court is ready to take another look at Gobitis. The Barnette decision is one of Jackson's shining hours, and it's beautifully written. I think, it makes great constitutional sense. But it was a very tricky matter, partly because Gobitis had just recently been decided. And does the court want to revisit an issue so soon after it had been announced, the Gobitis decision? Harlan Fistone assigned the decision to Robert Jackson. Jackson's opinion was powerful and eloquent, and it contains some of the great passages ever written to human liberty and freedom of the mind. One of the most memorable parts of the decision is this passage. The very purpose of a Bill of Rights was to withdraw certain subjects from the vicissitudes of political controversy, to place them beyond the reach of majorities and officials, and to establish them as legal principles to be applied by the courts. One's right to life, liberty, and property, to free speech, a free press, freedom of worship and assembly, and other fundamental rights may not be submitted to vote. They depend on the outcome of no elections. This is an idea that many people have trouble understanding. They say we're a democracy, the majority of the people want flag salute, or they want Bible reading, or the distribution of Bibles, or they want Christmas services. They should get it. The Constitution guarantees it, the argument goes. And what Justice Jackson recognized so beautifully is that that is not so. The whole point of the Bill of Rights was, as he said, to give individuals guarantees that their rights would be protected against the popular will. Oddly, the issue of religious freedom was virtually absent from Jackson's majority opinion. Jackson accepted without question that the witnesses sincerely held beliefs that made it impossible for them to salute the flag, conscientiously speaking. But Jackson offered no analysis of the importance of that belief, or even of the role of religious freedom in striking down the mandatory flag salute. Indeed, he linked the freedom to worship with other Bill of Rights protections, such as I've already mentioned, the right to life, liberty, and so on. Rather than grounding his opinion in freedom of religion, Jackson analyzed the case as one of freedom of speech and expression, arguing that the freedom to salute the flag, the requirement to salute the flag or not to salute the flag, was a form of utterance, and therefore subject to traditional free speech analysis. He noted that the flag was a political symbol, and that naturally saluting the flag was symbolic speech. Symbolism, Jackson wrote, is a primitive but effective way of communicating ideas. The use of an emblem or a flag to symbolize some system, idea, institution, or personality is a shortcut from mind to mind. Causes and nations, political parties, lodges, and ecclesiastical groups seek to knit loyalty of their followings to a flag or a banner, a color or design. The state announces rank, function, and authority through crowns and maces, uniforms and black robes. The church speaks through the cross, the crucifix, the altar, and the shrine, and clerical raiment. Symbols of the state often convey political ideas, just as religious symbols come to convey theological ones. The question for Jackson was rather simple. Did the speech of the Jehovah's Witnesses threaten the rights of any individuals or the peace and stability of the government? If either threat were present, then Jackson might have allowed the mandatory flag salute. But if the witnesses' speech did not threaten the rights of others or threaten government, then there was a valid reason to suppress it. And Jackson found exactly that. Jackson's shrewd analysis had turned the case inside out. It was no longer one of freedom of religion, but one that in part took the form of establishment of religion on the part of government through its flag salute ritual. Jackson correctly saw that Jehovah's Witnesses were not trying to force their views on anyone else, but that the government was trying to force its views and beliefs on the Jehovah's Witnesses.